And we should be about live right about now. Waiting for my.
Hello.
Hi there, Luke. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's a bit cold and dark over here, but it's not too bad.
Winter. Winter sucks. Can't wait for summer.
Indeed.
And is the captain here? Captain?
Greetings.
There you go. Except one person is missing, Mr. Melting Man. So I have the great honor that I can get to delete him from my page. That'll teach
Delete.
him. Ditching us, huh? Boom, now I'm ditching you. That was so satisfying.
And he is dead.
Poor Melting Man. Ah, I'm such a great friend.
Yeah, he's melted. Oh well, world.
That's
Melted
dark.
Man.
Yeah, someone threw water at him.
Like the Queen. No, not the Queen, the Witch. The Wicked Witch.
The Wicked Witch
There
of the
we
West,
go.
yes.
Alrighty, yeah, I guess we're good to go. Yeah, Melting Man isn't joining us today because we ain't talking about comics, and the Sonic X episodes weren't interesting enough for him, I suppose. Which I can understand. They weren't the best episodes, but I'm sure we still have plenty to talk about. Yeah, and we got some news about the Sonic the movie, I suppose. Bunch of new renders.
Yeah, so some new images and a couple more seconds of footage have popped up on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just waiting for the movie to finish. I don't really need to see every new little bit of information, but I guess it's nice. And at least the promotional pics are fun, like Robotnik, Jim Carrey posing like that.
Yeah, look, he's gonna dance, throw some shapes up in a London nightclub, hopped up on ecstasy.
Oh man, I wish we
Dancing
got
to-
more promotional.
Yeah, dancing to some new techno.
Exactly. I wish you
He's,
got more. Sorry, yeah, Captain.
He's playing an invisible keyboard, like separate ways and by Journey.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I hope we do get a new dance number in the movie.
I do
Oh,
hope so.
absolutely.
That'd be awesome, yeah. Man, I wish we got those building blocks from posters more often because it's kind of fun. I'm sure a lot of people can have fun with Photoshop making their own posters from this, and it's just fun to see the actors pose like this. It's just begging to be memeified. All right, guess we'll just waste a little bit more time before we start officially.
Linebacker Zavok, or not Zavok, Omega is now available in both Sonic Dash and Sonic Forces Speed Battle.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. Looks awesome, very intimidating. You got him unlocked yet?
Not quite.
Blasphemy.
It's gonna take a bit.
Yeah. Can't do it immediately if you don't spend money on it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And even in Sonic Dash, you just don't even have the option to get him on the first day or the second day, apparently. So maybe tomorrow he'll be unlocked.
I hope so for you. I'm not playing Sonic Dash anymore, even though I liked it, but I haven't really got back to it again. I do still play Sonic Forces Battle a little bit. Nice to play for a quick break, but I'm not playing it too seriously. Are you, Luke? Are you hooked on cell phone games yourself?
I'm not a big fan of mobile gaming these days. I mean, because it mostly does. I do find them a little bit repetitive, and also like there are things you have to like wait ages for unless you have like these special crystals and items that you have to unlock, and unless you have to pay and all that. So I'm not really into that sort of stuff.
It can mess with your mind, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm thinking this is what like killed off handheld gaming in a way.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm very bitter about that too. Oh, I guess Nintendo Switch is the closer we get to a handheld system, even though it doesn't really count. Oh well. Yeah, I guess we could also talk about the reason why we're cowboys in the picture. Because I kept getting complaints that this stream doesn't have a proper name. Because I'm terrible at marketing. Because I'm weird and I have a lack of self confidence and I was self sabotaging myself. I was like, it's just a stupid stream. Who cares? So Never really gave it a name. But yeah, people wanted to have it a name, so I guess we could have a poll of that. So I guess everyone is free to throw in suggestions. My wife had a nice one. I liked like Sonic Dissected Alive. That was a nice.
Yeah.
I like that one. Luke, you got a name you want to give to stream?
No, I mean Sonic Dissected Live is perfectly fine.
Captain, you had any thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of like Dissected Alive. It's pretty clever.
Or Dissected Cast.
Dissected Cast. Ooh, nice. Yeah, and we were joking about Roger and Friends at some point, but it sounds a little too egotistical. So
That sounds like a working title for IMP.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although again, it would put a little too much focus on the Roger character. He's the leader, but I don't want him to be like the full focus all the time. It's a team effort. But yeah, so if anyone in the chat has a suggestion, feel free to throw one up. Maybe we'll have a poll about it later. Otherwise, it's just going to be Sonic Dissected Alive, I suppose, for the future. So yeah, that is our big name announcement, our quest for a name, I suppose. Yeah, should we get into it? Sonic X.
Sure.
So, and then we start with Sonic X22, the Japanese one. Anyone wants to do a synopsis, or is it my turn? I guess I'll do it.
You can go.
All right. Okay, so for some random reason, everyone is in Japan, including Chris's teacher. Because it's still vacation. Apparently the crews didn't take up their entire vacation. And most of the episode doesn't have much of a plot. Sonic is just screwing around. I love that the teacher's constantly calling headquarters about every mundane detail. Like, oh, the bus is leaving. Oh, you have to know this. I'm sure the government already knows this. Also interesting, they never really mentioned during Japan. They just call it a random mountain village. Although I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be far away. And this is the first episode Chris's two friends finally get a bigger role. Even though they still barely do anything. This is the most screen time they had so far. That's interesting. Anyway, yeah, back to the plot. Like I said, there's not much of a plot. Sonic is just running around in Japan and interacting and seeing a bunch of Japanese culture. And gives a thumbs up and gives a compliment. So that's nice for the Japanese people. But doesn't have much of a story plot. Eventually, the others are just kind of screwing around in nature and camping until Cheese, the Chao of Cream, gets stuck in a river and gets dragged away, and accidentally discovers an entire valley filled with other Chao. While Dr. Eggman is randomly in the jungle for some reason with the robots, not really doing anything, also having vacation, I guess. In the Japanese version, he says he's making memories, which is kind of out of character, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, so they're hanging out with the Chao Garden, I suppose. They mentioned that Chaos are actually from Earth instead of from Sonic's planet, so apparently Chao are intergalactic beings, we learn, so that's good to know. I mean, I guess that's where all the posters from Chao in space come from. But yeah, thanks to Dr. Eggman screwing around with a giant robot, the river gets dirty. And then Sonic has to clean up the river, and that's pretty much the only actual plot that happens. And then everyone is happy, I suppose, the end. So, filler episode, I suppose. You guys had any thoughts on it?
Yeah, so it is weird to note that not only, like, are these Chao randomly in Japan, when, like, everyone else ended up in Station Square, but also, like... Mr. Tanaka reveals that they've been there since he was a child.
Yeah, so I think he's supposed to be actual Earth Chao and not from Sonic's planet. So I guess now it's confirmed that the Chao are actually intergalactic, yeah. I suppose that's the implication.
So I'm guessing like there are Chao secretly hidden on our planet like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's...
I guess so.
That's random world building. But yeah, that was always the one thing I was kind of looking forward to, how more of Sonic's planet stuff would get introduced here, because Floating Island and Shadow will show up later, so I was kind of wondering, like, how did they get here? But yeah, with the Chao, they don't really give much of an explanation. But yeah, Mr. Tanaka apparently already met them as a youth. I guess that explains why he doesn't have much of a reaction to discovering Sonic and friends. Oh well.
It is weird that Eggman, this guy who famously loves technology and hates nature, is trying to enjoy camping.
That's the very frustrating thing about this thing. I mean, the whole episode is really just a tourist commercial for Japan, and I guess they wanted to give everyone like a Japanese thing to do, so they're catching bugs or doing.
Yeah, it does seem like a very weird anime trope. Like, you know, you used to get that in a lot of anime. We got like a villain and their two cronies doing random stuff together, like just having a nature ramble in the forest.
Absolutely, but yeah, it is disappointing they didn't really utilize Eggman's personality more. I mean, in the early episodes they did great things, like Dr. Eggman holding a school class hostage, so the robot teacher would force them to be like worship Eggman. Like, that's wonderful usage of his character, but them just randomly putting him in nature because suddenly he just wants to camp and wants to make good memories. That's just, again, it's just a Japanese trope they just force Eggman into. So that's kind of frustrating. It would have been more fun if they actually utilized their personality a little bit better. Oh well.
One bit I do like is when Eggman and the robots are like spying on Chris and friends. They've got like these little tree branches tied to the sides of their heads, and it kind of reminds me of like what the Romans would do in the Asterix comics when they were sneaking around in the forest, and they would have like tree branches tied to their head. Or that one what they did in Asterix the Gladiator, where they had like parsley stuck in their ears so they wouldn't hear Cacophonix's singing.
Yeah, except that the Romans were at least usually smart to have like a full body outfit, like an entire tree, not just.
Yeah, you would think they were probably like you probably could expect them like to like sneak around in what you get in a cartoon, like in tree trunks with a little door in the window with their faces.
Yeah, I came up with an example. Yeah, Romans usually just actually go into the trees themselves instead of just having branches. Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, it was a kind of fun episode. I mean, I kind of like the idea that Eggman's robot is so worthless in this episode. It shows up.
It just falls over.
Yeah, it just immediately falls over. I mean, that's gonna be the theme of all 3 episodes. Like, Eggman's robots are completely, almost entirely a joke.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, I think, in one of your IMP episodes with like Father Christmas and this crudely drawn mech and it just falls over.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think it was inspired by this, but yeah. I wish the timing was a little snappier because they still. I mean, the comedic effect doesn't entirely work, but yeah, it is kind of fun. Just the robot shows up and immediately falls over. That's a funny gag. Poor robot.
But yeah, so Sonic in particular does a lot of tourist stuff in this episode. He like tries a whole bunch of street food and he gets a whole bunch of souvenirs, and he seems to be quite the celebrity in Japan, as he is everywhere, but he seems to actually like his celebrity status in Japan, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, as opposed to the rest of the world. I guess because they're more polite. Because they otherwise always immediately swamp him while the Japanese keep their distance. I guess that's the point. But yeah, there's not much of a point to it. I mean, it would be fun if there's like a punchline or it led to something, but it's really just Sonic sees a part of Japan culture, gives a thumbs up, and moves away again. So it really just feels like a commercial for Japan, basically. Oh well.
There's also this really weird forced drama towards the end of the episode where Eggman's robot falling over causes mud to get into the water, and oh no, Chao need fresh water or they'll die. Oh no, there is dirt in the water, whatever will we do?
Like water doesn't usually have dirt. I mean, I guess it's nice foreshadowing to Chaos Zero eventually. I mean, I guess that nicely leads to...
Yeah, and the kids just make this very complicated-looking stretcher thing to shift all the mud out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they barely do anything. They just keep standing there. That was kind of funny. I love the random shot of them being filled with mud. Like, you see Sonic running around and throwing all the mud in the air, and then it just cuts to them being completely... Well, not complete, but having mud on them, and they don't even react. That kind of amuses me.
Yeah, it's funny, because, like, he gets all this mud out of the water, and, like, it splashes over the kids and the Chao, And the first thing the Chao do is jump back in the water, covered in mud.
And also, you would think that Sonic would have gone round so fast that all the water would have gone out of the lake. Oh, great job, Sonic! You've got to drain the whole thing.
That would be funny, yeah. That would have been fun.
There's also a very weird joke involving temperature where Eggman says it feels like 120 degrees outside, and the robots correct him. And Deco uses Fahrenheit and Boko uses Celsius. and the joke is especially kind of dumb because Deco says, "Oh, it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit." And Boko says, "Well, I got 35 degrees Celsius, which is 95 degrees Fahrenheit." So it wasn't even them disagreeing with each other. It was just an opportunity to, I guess, teach you that 95 degrees Fahrenheit is 35 degrees Celsius.
I suppose because Dr. Eggman didn't quite specify which degrees he was talking about. I mean, again, in the Japanese version, they just kind of teach you about humidity in Japanese summer in general. So I guess they had to do something with that, which again makes the whole episode just feel like a weird educational thing or something. Really
I was going to ask about that because I didn't feel like they used a Fahrenheit Celsius joke in the Japanese version.
No, one of the bars is actually just about the humidity, and the other does bring up the Celsius, yeah. So it's just about general what summer is like.
But yeah, it was a kind of weird filler-ish slice of life episode. It was weird seeing the kids going around catching bugs, and Tails refers to a pill bug as the coolest thing he's ever seen.
Yeah. That was kind of interesting. Oh well, I mean...
Maybe Tails is just secretly fascinated with things that can curl up into a ball.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
That's why he likes Sonic so much.
I'm also kind of surprised that despite this episode technically being a Tanaka episode, because they go to his homeland, but he barely even does anything. In fact, their home teacher randomly actually takes over as their actual leader. And at this point, I still have no idea what the teacher's goal even is. Why is he still there?
Yeah, because his mission was to find out if Sonic lived at the Thorndike house, and now that's just public knowledge.
Yeah, and if he worked with Gunn, which I mean he does and sometimes does, but yeah, I have no idea what he's doing. He's protecting Chris, even though Chris doesn't really need protection.
Just wants to hang out.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did kind of say that something. Oh, it's fun to go camping with Sonic. He did say that at one point, so I guess he just enjoys it to a degree. But it is kind of confusing. Like the whole episode just feels like they have a lot of ideas, but they don't really know how to get to those ideas, I suppose. I mean, there's indeed fun slice of life bits in there, some fun details, but generally the episode just feels kind of pointless. I mean, I don't mind filler the boat episode from last time was great. But this one didn't seem to have any point at all. Except teaching us about Japan, so that's nice, I suppose.
It is weird to consider these filler episodes because filler is usually when an anime catches up to a manga and so they don't have anything to adapt, so they just make episodes that aren't in the manga while the manga catches up. But there is no manga here.
I guess you
so
could
they can
say
do whatever
Sonic
they
Adventure
want.
1 and 2 is the manga equivalent, and then all the episodes so far have been filler.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, this is more of a comedic show, so I don't really mind filler. It's just fun to have loose episodes. So I didn't mean that as an attack in and on itself. I like filler episodes when they have a fun story because there's so many supporting characters and a lot of world building to be done. So there's plenty you can do with a good filler episode here. But yeah, this one just felt like commercial for Japan, even though it's not even supposed to be actual Japan, but fantasy mountain village Japan. So that makes the world building even weirder. Oh well. And I guess if we're already preparing for Sonic Adventure, then I guess this is our Chao Garn episode, I suppose. Even though
without all the child abuse.
Not enough.
Because sometimes you just pick a Chao up, you just chuck it across the room.
Absolutely.
Everyone's done it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Chaos disagree, and we don't care. Yeah, and
or
it's nice.
feed it with those multicolored pens you get in Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh right, yeah. It's a shame.
Oh, the Chaos Drives.
The drives, yeah.
Uh,
It is a little interesting that apparently a group of Chao is called a colony.
Oh really? I didn't even notice that. Colony Arc, Colony Chao.
Ooh, I bet that was not intentional at all. I think they were comparing them to ants or something.
maybe the Chao were the original founding fathers.
Ooh.
That's a conspiracy right there.
They did the moon landing too. I mean, they're intergalactic apparently. So.
Well, yeah, there might be Chao on the moon.
Those are the real Chao in space.
Oh my.
So yeah, as Yuan said, Chao in space is based on true events.
Apparently so. That's good to know. Yeah, I think we said enough. Did I have anything
Yeah,
else to say?
this episode isn't too exciting.
Not really. Well, most episodes this week aren't too exciting. I kind of like the idea that Dr. Eggman still took his slot machine along in the jungle to camping. That was fun. And that was one interesting point. Like, before we made fun that Dr. Eggman always, despite choosing his robots by complete random, he always happens to grab the exact robot he needs for the context. I guess this is the one episode where he actually did pick the wrong robot because that robot was completely unsuitable for this area they were in. So, hey, credit for Sonic X. They actually utilized his random robot chooser correctly this time, or he actually got a wrong robot.
That is actually pretty great.
So, yeah, guess some bonus points. Well, up to the next episode, episode 23.
I'll go for this one.
Sure.
Alrighty?
Okay, so Chris's father decides to go to a jeweler with his security team in tow to pick up something nice for his wife because it's his wife's anniversary, and he comes across what's apparently a Chaos Emerald. So this continues the Chaos Emerald storyline. How they managed to acquire the Chaos Emerald, we do not know. And he's like, "Yes, I'll have that, and as a massive ring for my wife." Rouge and Topaz are in on it, probably either partners in crime or something else to decide to also steal the emerald. All the other so they all decide to go to the studio film lot where Mrs. Thorndyke is filming a new movie that seems to be based on Pride and Prejudice, and the movie lot looks very much like the Warner Brothers studio. Sonic's behind starts glowing because he apparently has an emerald there, and he plans to show it off like a bit of a surprise, but he kind of messes it up, and the emerald started reacting in a very violent manner because the Chaos Emeralds are pretty much the same as an infinity gem, which nearly caused a massive electrical supernova, which also attracts Eggman's attention. So he sends down this very interesting looking robot thing that kind of looks like something out of Transformers, I guess. So then they all have this massive fight over the emerald, with Topaz and Rouge starting manhandling Eggman. Then Mr. Tanaka tries to fight, but he gets brushed away and is considering committing seppuku, which I think is that's a bit extreme. But then Mr. Stewart is also there because he wants to acquire the emerald, but of course he fails. So they all try to fight, but after Sonic defeats the robot, Eggman manages to get away with the emerald. But it's Chris's parents' anniversary. Let's just celebrate anyway, whilst Eggman just gets away with the emerald. The end.
No big deal. Yes. Yeah, actually, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Knuckles even like comments on that because Sonic says like, "Oh, everything went pretty well." Knuckles
I was kind of expecting at the very end. Sorry, I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was going to say at the very end, I was expecting they were going to do some kind of switcheroo, like at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, where like maybe Eggman opens the box and he finds nothing there, and it turns out that Sonic managed to obtain it anyway.
Alas, no.
I think it's just one saying like,
Element did
let's give Eggman this a bit of a win this time.
I guess he deserves one after so long. I remember in Fifth Element, I think I love the scene there where you see the villain just finally after MacGuffin and he starts laughing and immediately turns into a cry. Man, that made me laugh so hard, that scene.
Turns it all what?
Fifth Element is like a Bruce Willis science
I
fiction.
know,
movie.
but he said he turned into something.
Yeah, they're the villain. What was his name? He also had the MacGuffin, and he opens the box, and you see him laughing evil, and then immediately turns into in a cry, like I don't have it. That made me laugh so hard.
Oh, right.
Sorry, random reference. But yeah, Captain, what do you want to say?
Well, so for one thing, the idea that you can just put a Chaos Emerald on a ring is really stupid. And like, it's not only way too big for a ring, but like the prongs that like hold a gem in place on a ring would have to be really long and would be very unsightly. So it just wouldn't even look good.
No.
But like so like if you were to put a Chaos Emerald into jewelry, it'd have to be like a crown where you can at least like put incorporate the prongs into the design, or like a brooch like they did in Sonic 06, but like a ring, no.
You would think maybe the jeweler could maybe like chip a bit off it, but I don't know if that's actually going to be pretty dangerous.
I love this episode so much with the humans, how stupid they are. I mean, the emerald really starts exploding, all the technology in the room, and lasers come out of it. And not a single time they even think about, oh, it might be dangerous. They just immediately go, oh, Lindsay will like this. Just keep going. Nobody think, oh, this might be dangerous.
Yes, and I also like the movie references as well. As like there's a small reference to like Star Wars, and there's even a brief reference to Titanic as well.
Yeah,
and there's even a brief reference to like Godzilla, even though he looks a bit like Reptar.
I liked Tails and Boko running along the bow of the Titanic. Boko falls off, and Tails catches him, only to drop him again. I thought that was a little funny moment.
And they do a brief King of the World pose.
Yeah.
Of course. Also very slapstick in how stretchy they are. That was weird animation.
There was some interesting Chaos Emerald lore in this episode, actually. The fact that, like, Sonic and his friends have 4 Chaos Emeralds. Tails explains that the 4 that they have grown adjusted to each other. So, like, they don't react to each other by being around each other anymore. But, like, the one that Chris's father has not adjusted to them, so when it gets exposed to the others, that's when it creates the wild reaction.
I wonder if they remember that when the other Chaos Emerald was going to show up. We'll see.
But yeah, that's kind of a stupid thing, because like that happens like in the dressing room where they're all discussing their plan, and then they decide to go through with the plan anyway, even though that happened. And
without
like
missing a beat, not even a single second of doubt. Just immediately.
And then Sonic knew that was going to happen because he knew that was a Chaos Emerald, and he still like was standing around as if that wasn't going to happen. This moment, this little like well-intentioned, heartfelt moment was going to be ruined by Sonic just standing there.
Knuckles is the only one who had any objections against it. It's funny.
Knuckles is the only one with any sense.
But yeah, I love that. The Chaos Emerald is about to explode, and it is desperately shut it down. And immediately, oh, anyway, go change. And we have to immediately go to Lindsay to show it to her. Just not a second of doubt. Just keep going, no matter that the stupid thing is about to explode.
Yeah, I mean, my bum's glowing, but that can't be bothered with that.
There's also like the Rouge and Topaz moments in this episode are great. Yeah. So like they're just hanging out for some reason. Like Rouge is planning a robbery.
I was surprised how Topaz immediately went with it. I mean, you see him immediately look evil at Rouge. It's like, okay, I guess he just goes along with it. I mean, I guess he's the government.
Yeah, like she was making fun of Rouge for thinking of stealing other jewels, but as soon as the Chaos Emerald gets involved, Topaz is on board.
Yeah.
And they're like sneaking through vents together and stuff. Rouge is a bad influence on Topaz.
Yep. Oh well. Then again, Topaz were already working for the government, so I guess stealing second nature to them. Politics.
Also, during Knuckles and Sonic's fight against Weezo, is what the robot is called, apparently. Sonic uses the spin dash without a power ring. So, I think that's a first.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that it actually defeated the enemy by using smarts again and not by using the power ring. Actually, the power ring has barely been used in these 3 episodes, so that was a fun surprise. So actually,
I think it was only used once in episode 24, so...
Yeah, not even as the big attack. So that was a nice, pleasant surprise. Because that was one thing I was worried about. It's so very formulaic that it always ends with Sonic getting the ring and immediately killing the robot. Yet it's not quite the way it went this time. But I thought, wasn't the robot kind of resembling Alien? To keep with the Hollywood theme?
Oh, I suppose so, yeah. I didn't make that connection, because, well, I've never seen Alien. Well, obviously I know what a xenomorph looks like, so...
Yeah, xenomorph, that's what I was talking.
I guess that could be the reference.
And I'm wondering if that Godzilla that showed up was meant to be a jab at the American Godzilla movie. I mean, this is 2003, and that movie was from 1998, so... I guess the Japanese were still offended by that movie. Probably. What do you think, Luke?
Well, to me, I mean, it does look a bit like, supposed to be a parody of Godzilla, but to me, it just looks like Reptar from the Rugrats. Even though I doubt that there'll be a well-known cartoon over there.
Fair enough. He looked so derpy, I just had to think, oh, this has to be a the American Godzilla.
They also had a reference to Jurassic Park as well, with like this T-Rex randomly roaring, and there's like this couple in the car just going, "Oh, look, there's a T-Rex over there."
And Eggman just flying right through it. That was fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Random.
So
I don't understand why they even brought the Gales Emeralds along, though. They just all they, far as they know, they went to just
a very good
random
point.
Anniversary party and like, oh, let's bring the Gales Emeralds along. Like,
oh, they didn't even know that.
All right.
They just knew that they were meeting Chris's father in Film Town or whatever it was called, Filmdom.
Yeah.
They didn't even know it was an anniversary, so they brought the Chaos Emeralds for no reason at all.
Yep, not very smart. Then again, I guess they're scared Eggman would steal it from the mansion if they weren't there to guard it.
Fair enough. But like the fact that they did that ultimately leads to Eggman getting a Chaos Emerald for himself.
True, although not the ones they brought, so credit to them, I suppose. Although they did cause all the explosions and damages. Even part of the film set collapsing on it.
And, yeah, a whole lot of broken stuff on that movie set. The broken water tank, the broken T-Rex animatronic, the burnt Godzilla suit.
Now I wonder what would have happened if Dr. Eggman didn't steal the emerald at the end. Would it just still given the Gale's Emerald ring to Lindsay? Because Sonic wasn't planning on taking it away from her. Even though the whole ring was destroying the entire film set, but nobody ever thought it was a bad idea except Lindsay herself.
I do feel like one thing we could address is that in the Japanese version, Mr. Tanaka, after failing to get the emerald, considered committing seppuku, which I think is a little extreme.
That's a good point, yeah. I mean, in the American version, he just says he doesn't deserve his uniform and need. In the Japanese version, he talks about committing suicide. But even funnier is Chris' response. For Tanaka, even without the ring, it's the wedding anniversary. Like, that's the only reason why you shouldn't commit suicide. Okay, it's okay for you to commit seppuku, but not on the anniversary. Tomorrow you can kill yourself, okay?
It's funny because, like, as I've pointed out multiple times, I'm only watching the English dub right now. But even I knew what they were going for in that scene. As soon as he, like, started bearing his stomach, I'm like, oh my god.
That's pretty dark, yeah. Sonic X.
Oh, it was definitely a weird scene. There is another weird moment. Speaking of weird moments, is so like Rouge and Topaz ultimately do nothing this episode. They almost steal the emerald from Eggman towards the end, but he like gets them off of his ship. There was a weird moment where it's confirmed in that scene that apparently the Eggmobile has gas and brake pedals.
Oh yeah, we noticed that too. That was funny.
It was weird. I always just assumed it used like airplane controls or whatever.
Yeah, but apparently it's like car controls. That's interesting.
He's
Or
actually
he just
got
like
gas and
launches
brake.
off like in the Flintstones. Just use his tiny little feet.
Oh yeah, another thing we can mention between the difference in the Japanese and American version, which this time the Japanese version actually make more sense. This is a rarity. But at the beginning, they're taking the phone from Mr. Thorndyke, and Tanaka is like bowing at the phone. In the American version, they never mention that, and just have a very long conversation if he's talking to the father or the uncle of Chris. On the Japanese version, they actually talk about that they're confused why Tanaka's bowing. I was kind of surprised they didn't bring that up in the American version, because we were already also kind of laughing at that. Like, oh, why is Tanaka like bowing at a phone?
I was yeah, so it was a very awkward conversation where like Tanaka refers to Nelson Thorndyke as Mr. Thorndyke, and Amy and Tails and Cream assume he means Chuck Thorndyke, but like Chuck is already there. Like Amy figures it out because Chris calls Nelson Dad, and Amy goes into this long speech about how she figured out from that information that it was not Chuck, because if it was Chuck, he would have said Grandpa.
It was very random and confusing, yeah. Oh, well.
I was wondering what that scene was like in Japanese. Were they like talking about like the fact that he said Thorndyke-san or something?
Well, they have the same conversation, because they also talk about the father and uncle confusion. It's only half the conversation, and then including bowing. But yeah, it was very forced and awkward. Yeah.
Apparently, in the dub version, after Mr. Stewart falls in the water, we don't actually see him crawl out to report about his failed mission.
Sorry again. What?
Oh, just saying that Meldman is saying that in the US version of that episode, you don't see Mr. Stewart climb out by the end of the episode, so even after falling into the water.
All right. I guess I just cut it out for time or something.
So apparently he drowned or something.
I doubt anyone would have thought that, but especially since he shows up in the next episode again. Or did he? I don't recall, but I'm sure he's going to return another time.
Yeah, he shows up in the next episode.
Alrighty. But yeah, I guess I just cut that out. But I don't think anyone expects him to die just for falling into water. I mean, he had worse things so far. Heck, he hadn't even been arrested by that cop who was running after him before.
Oh, thank you for reminding me of that glorious moment.
That stupid episode. Wonderful. Also, still good to see Knuckles actually strong and relatively useful. Even though they say he was going to get worse very quickly, but in this episode he was still pretty good.
Yeah, and he was the one who, honestly, he was the smartest character in this episode, really.
Sadly, yes.
We can't say so much for the next episode, though.
Yeah, the next episode he's more the slapsticky victim. Although he's still not that stupid. He just is very unlucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, still good usage of Knuckles. Good to see him still. I mean, he can be used for comedy, but he's still smart and strong what it needs to be. Competent, yes.
And serious. Yeah, he's the only one who, like, seems concerned with the fact that Eggman made off with the Chaos Emerald.
Everyone else doesn't really care.
They're like, oh, what a nice wedding anniversary.
That's all that matters. Yep. Oh, well. That was a fun episode.
Yeah.
We move to the next one?
Yep. So I guess I'll do this one.
Oh, wait. We've got one thing.
Oh.
I actually made a skit for the episode we just talked about. So before.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry about that. Even though we already discussed this, but oh well. Oh, I bet Lindsay will love this! Oh, Lindsay will definitely love this! Oh! I have a surprise for you! almost forgot about that one. Sorry, did a little bit more chibi this time. All right, so we move on to the next episode as soon as the captain is ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
So this episode just starts us off in the action against Eggman's Robo Chicken, and it kidnaps Amy just instantly, and Sonic pulls out a power ring instantly and slams into the robot, which, to its credit, does not immediately explode.
Yeah.
But it breaks enough that a microchip falls out of it and lands in Sonic's ear. And that's kind of the plot of the episode, is that there's this microchip in Sonic's ear. And when Mr. Tanaka tries to open up the garage door with a remote, it activates the microchip and causes Sonic to just start running and never stop. And yeah, so that is the entire plot of the episode, is that Sonic is just running all the time, and everyone's trying to figure out a way to stop him. Their first technique is to use a missile that makes a bubble that would lift Sonic in the air, but Chuck accidentally uses too much helium, and it just causes Sonic to float away. So Knuckles manages to pop it with a single pebble, which was actually pretty impressive from the distance he was at. And so Sonic just runs right past him. Knuckles meets up with the others, confused about what's going on. Knuckles suddenly has fingers, but we'll ignore that. And they start coming up with more plans, and their next plan is a giant hamster wheel. And that doesn't work because Sonic runs in it so long that the hinges melt. And then, it falls over on its side, and Sonic drills down and strikes water. And then they have this plan where they get Chris's Uncle Sam to race Sonic, but they were dumb enough to label doors with numbers instead of anything else, and so Sam screws up the trap by going through door number 1, which was supposed to be where Sonic went through to go through a glue trap. And eventually they find out there's a signal coming from Sonic. They trace the signal back to the Robot Chicken. They destroy the Robot Chicken. Or no. They fight the Robot Chicken. The Robot Chicken fights back. And then Sonic shows up, and he headbutts the chicken, and the microchip falls out of his ear. And that's it.
Until
a couple of nice autonomy moments in this episode. I like it.
Yeah, if you like that sort of thing, this is going to be a great episode for you. Yes. Luke, what do you think of this episode?
Yeah, it's all right. I do like all the different methods that they try to do to stop Sonic, and I like the little animated diagrams where you see a little stick figure Sonic. I thought that's quite cute looking. Also, you got a few Son Amy moments as well, especially like when they land in the hay at the end, and Amy blows hay out of straw out of Sonic's ear.
Yep. It was a very Looney Tunes-esque episode. It was kind of fun. I liked that, although some parts felt a little forced.
Yeah. Sam is in denial that he has lost to Sonic twice already.
Oh, well, I suppose that's in character.
Yeah, he does seem to have a massive ego in this episode.
He definitely has. Well, he has it in every episode, but yeah. Here's another thing where it's very kind of interesting to me, the difference between Japanese and American version, where in the Japanese version they actually continue using the running gags with Sam, that he has like a different nickname all the time, and he still uses that weird quick pun. Except this time I actually found it funny. Well, the American version actually deliberately avoids those running gags, so just give him more generic dialogue this episode. But yeah, I really like Sammy. We actually got to see him arrest Thug this time. This is the first time we actually see him do police work besides to run after Sonic.
Yeah, he just lets him go afterwards.
Exactly, which again leads to the pun, which is actually funny this time. Like, oh, I arrest people quickly, but I also let them free quickly.
Yeah, well, the guy's like, oh, but what about that hooker I just murdered? Well, that's all right. You can just go.
As long as I'm quick about it, that's all that matters.
You don't understand. There is a hedgehog.
Exactly. Way more important.
You are free to go.
Sam is such a wonderful cop.
When they build the hamster wheel, they figure that Sonic is probably getting hungry at that time, so the hamster wheel has like a bar in the middle with a tray that comes out and has a very weird. I guess you could maybe call it a chili dog, but it doesn't seem to have any chili on it. But whatever, it's the closest thing to a chili dog in this series. I'll accept it.
Yeah, I guess the Japanese didn't really get that joke yet. Up until Sonic Unleashed and Black Knight. That was the first time the Japanese acknowledged a chili dog meme.
There was a weird thing I noticed when they were discussing their plan involving Sam Speed, and like all of their plans involve like this like crudely drawn animation of Sonic running. When they're discussing the plan with Sam, Sonic's footsteps have the same sound effect as Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I found that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like in that scene in the tent when Mr. Tanaka is chopping something up, but you only see in the shots you got to see like behind him, and as he keeps chopping, it's kind of looks a bit awkward.
Oh, okay. I kind of like the video game locations. Like, he runs out of the city and it's like immediately in the desert, and in the desert they go immediately to the farm. Like, they're just levels. Like, I was quickly the biodomes kind of change. It was kind of amusing.
Yeah.
Guess. Yeah.
This is also the episode with the infamously weird face towards the beginning.
Oh yes.
When the chip first activates.
Yeah, it's almost like they hired me to draw that.
No, there's way too much detail.
Ouch.
Yeah, it looks like something that's wet up Sonic's ass.
It is such a weird face, and especially out of context. It's like I saw it everywhere back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, with the chin, it even reminds me kind of Ken Pender's art style a little bit. Almost like more human features to it. Oh well. Yeah, what else is there to say? There were more things I wanted to say. Anyway, I still like this setting. I love how the city always looks. I mean, this picture is amazing. I love this city. I wish Sonic had more settings like this.
There was a weird moment at least in the dub, I don't know if it's in the Japanese, but when Tanaka is cooking and Amy asks what an onion is.
Yeah, it was also still Japanese, I think, but...
Oh, I thought she was like criticizing the way he cut it up. It's like, what is this? Is this the cut onion?
I don't even remember anymore. I didn't really pay attention there, but...
In the English dub, she says like, "Oh, what's this smelly thing?" And Chuck explains what an onion is.
Okay, just a quick little slice of life, a moment. I don't even remember that sequence, I'm afraid. Oh well. Well, hey, there's also a reference to... Well, not the reference to the movie. The movie didn't exist yet, but yet again we have Sonic and friends killing a poor fish. Yet again, Sonic gives some fish randomly to Knuckles, and Knuckles just brings the fish into the desert, and then just drops it. Poor fish. They don't even eat it for lunch. Poor thing. Man, they're psychopaths.
Well, to give the fish credit, he was still alive when Knuckles arrived at the desert, so he lasted quite a while.
Then again, the desert seems to be very short, since you just run from the city straight into the desert and then straight to the farm. So I guess it's a very tiny desert. But yeah, they love killing poor innocent fish. Oh well.
Well, and Sonic was like running through Knuckles. It's like, oh, okay, I give you this fish.
Yeah, in the English version, I don't think he said anything. But yeah, in the Japanese version, he explicitly said it. Here, a gift for you. Like, okay.
I just assumed that the fish washed up with when Sonic ran on the water.
Probably, yeah. Poor thing, and they never save it. They just drop it in the desert and left to die. Psychopaths. One thing that kind of confused me is their third trap doesn't make any sense because the entire point of the trap is to lure Sonic into a trap, even though Sonic is following their instructions exactly. So
Yeah, he
why?
seems very complacent because, like, with the sticky thing, he could have just told him to just run on that sticky thing, and he would do it.
Yeah, because all the other times he always followed their instruction. They drew arrows everywhere, and he just ran straight up to. But then the final trap is all of a sudden about Sam manipulating him into a specific location. Like, why?
Yeah, that is a very good point. It's not like he was avoiding them or anything. He just couldn't actually stop himself from running.
And he wants to stop.
So, yeah. So there's this really weird moment where they try and trick him into going into a glue trap, and it doesn't work because Sam's a dumbass.
It's something like why a Coyote would do to Roadrunner or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh well, they just really wanted to tell that joke, I suppose.
Yeah, the Sam going through door number 1 because he's number 1. that could have been avoided if they'd labeled the doors any other way, or again, just gone with the glue trap and not done this elaborate trap.
Yeah, another thing I want to brought up is that Eggman pretty much did sod all in this episode. Just sits in his Egg Fort 2, just observing Sonic, wondering what the hell he's doing. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll just constantly watch him, and like, oh, he's eating it. Well, I'll eat him, and probably doing anything else really.
That was really random, yeah. Especially because, as far as Eggman knows, there's nothing particularly wrong with Sonic. He just runs. So why he's suddenly amused by that, I don't know. Sonic is running.
Like,
no,
I was like, sleeping, eh? I'll sleep you.
Yeah.
It really feels like Roger wrote Eggman's participation in this episode. Just like a parody of how Eggman acts in Sonic Colors.
Pretty much,
He's
yeah.
just constantly talking about doing something, but never actually does anything.
That's a good point. It is very Sonic Boom. Yeah, this whole episode kind of does remind me of Sonic Boom because everyone is kind of suspicious about Sonic's behavior, even though his behavior is kind of normal. It's like, oh, Sonic doesn't listen to Amy and he runs away. Like, isn't that every episode? Although at least the Sonic X credit, they actually did bring that up.
Yeah, because they didn't think anything was wrong at first.
Exactly. But then it went on too long and then they got suspicious. Because the Sonic Boom, they would just go, oh, Sonic doesn't want to go on adventure. That's weird, even though in none episode he ever wants that. So that they never bring that up. But yeah, it was kind of a very Sonic Boom-ish episode, except a lot more slapsticky, which is good, because Sonic should be slapsticky. Because, hey, he's a fast blue hedgehog, so operates better on a Looney Tunes. Yeah.
In the dub, Eggman sees Sonic running in the hamster wheel and declares that exercise looks fun and he's going to start exercising tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so Deco and Boko say oh, tomorrow never comes. And then finally at the end of the episode when Eggman's ready to attack, he decides to just take a nap.
Yep. That's pretty much the same in the Japanese version. Well, in the Japanese version, the joke is different, where he said, oh, I'm going to exercise my brain, he says then. But yeah, it boils down to the same thing.
That sounds more in character.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I liked this episode because there's a lot of Sonomy moments.
Yeah.
If you like that, then sure. I also like the fact that by the end, the robot chicken just kind of fell apart. Sonic didn't really even have to fight him. As soon as the chicken attacked, he already fell apart before Sonic did anything. He just needed to finish him off. I mean, the chicken did already... That he survived the first attack was already impressive. Also, I kind of like that the robot was just kind of hanging out on the farm. This is the first time you see Dr. Eggman's robot when they don't have a mission.
Yeah, being chased by cows.
Exactly, yeah. So he doesn't have any mission going on, so he just kind of hangs around on the farm. Makes me wonder what the farmer thought, but we never see him.
Yeah, there's a big chicken out there.
I suppose since we know that the chip that's in Sonic's ear can control remotely, that chip was important to whatever the robot was, to his being able to take orders or whatever. So when it fell out, Eggman couldn't control it anymore, so it just started wandering around.
I guess so, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Melting Man wanted to show us that Knuckles did have fingers in Archie comics, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this is the first time we've seen with
I
fingers.
do not like that.
Sorry,
I do not.
I'll take it away. All right. So that was Sonic X. I think we had a couple questions in the chat, so I guess we'll talk about those. Or does anyone still have anything to say about this episode?
One little tiny little bit is like when in the beginning where Sonic is trying to like dig out the chip in his ear, it falls over, but you don't see like implanted in his brain or anything. It just shows like a big empty black space where it's like falling over, like there's nothing there. Just that's the chip.
Sonic doesn't have a brain.
No.
That explains a lot.
And yeah, that's how microchips work. Like you put it in someone's brain and it like messes your body up.
Apparently so.
And you can activate it with a garage door remote.
Yep. Apparently Dr. Eggman's machinery is compatible with the Earth remote control. They should try that. Just bring the TV remote control to them whenever they attack Eggman to see what happens. Just press rewind or reject. See his robots that freak out over it. Who knows?
Also, I swear this was kind of done somewhere else where like Sonic can't control his running and he can't like slow down. I just can't figure it out.
Didn't Sonic Boom do that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Sounds like a plot they did.
But yeah, that does sound familiar now that you bring it up from somewhere else. Either Sonic Boom or one of the
or maybe
cartoons.
an Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog or something.
Yeah, the cartoony old one, yeah. Could be. Don't immediately know, but I can totally see it happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not Sonic Boom because they don't have enough environments for him to run through. You just have the village and a little bit of jungle. I don't know, but yeah, fun episode, I guess. Kind of weird, but that's Sonic X for you. Yeah, someone asked where Soul Sustentia 2 is. I'm working on an update for the first Soul Sustentia at the moment, and it's taking a little bit while. Yeah, and I wish I had a new animation done soon, but it's not coming any fast either. I'm working on a SWAT Cats cartoon at the moment for
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, to celebrate that it's getting a new revival apparently.
Very nice.
So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I hope to have a quick SWAT Cats cartoon done this week. But yeah, I'm working on updates for some Sonic Robo Blast 2 stages still. That's an update on that. Yeah, and Melting Man asked our opinion about the Asterix series. Didn't we talk about that before? I guess we can talk about that now. Luke, your opinion on the Asterix series?
Well, I pretty much grew up on Asterix, and ever since I was very young. I remembered going to my local library every Saturday and renting the volumes and enjoying like all these stories set in like ancient Gaul with Asterix and Obelix.
Okay, Captain, you're familiar with Asterix?
Actually, not really. I've heard of it, certainly, but only recently. I feel like the odd one out. I've never even seen anything about it.
Well, you're American, so it's very European, I suppose.
Well, yeah, but so is Melting Man.
Yeah, but he likes obscure stuff.
Alright, fair enough.
Don't take it too hard. It's just a very European thing, I guess. My opinion, yeah, I also grew up on it and I love it. But, I don't have anything clever to say about it. It's kind of hard for me to think what my opinion even is. I mean, it's such a thing that I grew up in from the start that I never really had an opinion. It's just part of the world. It's like asking me what breathing air is like. I can't even imagine a world without it. So Asterix is just so integrated into the blood of Europe that.
I've heard people describe Garfield the same way.
I can understand that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, looks like Luke lost connection.
Yeah, Yeah, I was wondering about it because he was clearly still talking about Asterix and he suddenly cut out. Huh.
Uh, but
Awkward.
speaking of me being American, something we mentioned earlier was the American Godzilla.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, this has nothing to do with me being American because everybody hates that movie. But I actually really like Godzilla's design in that movie. I think he looks cool. And yeah, I'm really glad that the comics, at least the Godzilla comics, still use that version of Godzilla. He looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the movies had a good design.
Hello? So,
Oh,
Oh,
look,
there he's back.
he's back.
sorry, I just lost my connection there.
Can happen.
We noticed.
Are you still talking about Asterix?
No, but you
No,
can
we're
go
talking
back
about
to Asterix if you
Godzilla.
want.
Oh.
You can
So we're
go
talking
back to Asterix if you want to.
Yes, I was just the character was just saying he barely knows anything about Asterix. I was about to explain to him a brief synopsis, like how it's set in Gaul, occupied by the Romans, and except for one tiny little village that holds out because the druid has created this magic potion that manages to give them superhuman strength, and so it just has Asterix and Obelix going on random adventures whilst the Romans try to take over the village, but they always fail.
Of course they do, yeah.
Okay, that actually sounds very similar to the premise of Sonic Sat-Am.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, sure.
Well,
In fact, they even have like a power ring, except then it's a magic potion.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. I guess that's kind of like pretty tropey for children's cartoons because that's like, I think Smurfs do that.
He-Man
the
has
Gummy
done that
Bears
with
do
Castle
that.
Grayskull.
Yeah.
It's
Where you just have like this villain that is like taking over most of the world, but you got this small resistance who are holding out in this one village, and they got magic powers that prevent them from getting defeated.
pretty much, yeah. It's classic. Yeah, it's not never really played for drama. It's really a comedy thing, and they usually just use it as satire on politics and all that. Because that's the kind of surprising thing. I mean, you think about the series all about them having power potions, like they would have like an opponent that uses that against them, or that they once have like a Roman who uses the power potion to become super strong. But I don't think that ever happened in any of the media of Asterix ever. It's like they never actually have an opponent that fights back because it's never really about fighting. It's always just about outsmarting the enemy or something.
Yeah, because like every time they bash an enemy, like there's none that actually can withstand the potion.
Exactly, all their enemies are they're basically one punch man. They just punch everyone a million discount. Not even punch, you can just slap them away. I think Asterix and the Vikings is the only time someone could actually withstand their potion. That was actually an awesome moment where Obelix tries to punch one of the Vikings in the air and he just kind of does a backflip and it just comes straight back. But that's only in the animated movie, not in the comic.
Maybe I'll look into this series a little bit because it does sound pretty funny.
You do get a couple of animated movies on YouTube. Like one of my all-time favorite animated Asterix movies would be Asterix in Britain, due to how good the plot is and how it has a few like British references, like how you have like a wooden version of London, like a wooden version of Tower Bridge and a wooden version of the House of Parliament, and with the Tower of London, it's just a very tall wooden tower.
One thing, Asterix is very reliant on stereotypes, so that might be a little touchy for Americans now. I mean, most of it always plays off in Europe, so usually it's just Europeans making fun of other Europeans, but there's one that's about Egypt, and there's one where you go to America, meet up with Indians. I'm not entirely sure if they age well, if you like that sort of thing, because we Europeans love our stereotypes. So,
If it's like a product of its time, it's excusable.
fair enough. Most of them were
As long as you like understand that like times were different back then.
Fair enough.
Like
least-
Warner Brothers has that famous thing from the beginning of some of their cartoons where they like say like times were different back then. It was inexcusable then and it's inexcusable now. But like we will leave this unedited because like we don't want to pretend like this wasn't a problem. Something like that. It's neat.
Fair enough. If you have that attitude, then it should be no problem. At least the series is not mean spirited. It's all in good fun, so you shouldn't really get too upset. But I'm just warning you. Like, if you don't like that sort of thing, then you might get upset about it.
So Ollie in the comments asked me if I ever saw the animated Godzilla show, and yes, I did. I loved that show as a kid. So if you've never heard of it, it's a continuation of the American Godzilla movie, where like the one egg that survives, goes on to become like a force for good because it like bonds with the first human it sees and like considers it like its father, and so it's a good guy in the series, and it's really cool. I love that show.
Is that the one I show on the screen now? Because I remember there was another animated Godzilla, an older one, but it's probably not based on the American version.
The what I'm seeing on screen right now is the movie.
Not the anime.
So, yeah,
maybe there's a bit of lag for you first.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Okay. Yeah,
Godzilla the series. I love that show. It was cool.
All right.
Nice. I should watch it again. It's been a long time. But yeah, so like that design of Godzilla always looked cool to me. And so I'm glad that it's still in the comics, and like it was a villain at first, but now it's a good guy.
Classic Godzilla.
I just love it.
Nice. Yeah, I think I saw the 1998 movie, and I don't have much of an opinion about it. I guess I was too young to really have a...
It's not a good movie.
I remember just kind of being bored, yeah. Then again, I think it was just because it constantly played up in the dark and all that. I don't like good movies that are constantly dark.
Godzilla looks so cool, though. I love his design in that movie.
That's always cool, huh? I have that with a lot of 90s movies, like the Power Rangers movie or the Turtles from 1990, like that.
Yeah, I remember the 90s was a time when like every major movie had like their own animated series, because I can remember when Free Willy had his own animated series, and it was really weird because you had Willy talking, and his nemesis, he has a nemesis, which is this evil bald guy with a robot with cyborg implants in this submarine doing like evil Captain Planet stuff.
What the actual hell? This is the first I'm hearing of that. That sounds ridiculous.
It was. And I thought, wait, why does Willy the Whale talk?
Does Willy still need to be freed in every single episode?
Oh my god!
Well, I do remember having a very cool opening theme song.
Yeah, 90s always have good opening songs. That's true.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I very often love the movie designs, like the Turtles and Power Rangers movie designs. They're awesome.
Okay. Rhino in the comments asked if I liked the American Godzilla's appearance in Final Wars. Not really. For the obvious reason that he's only there for 5 seconds to get destroyed. But also, like, he looks weird in that movie. Like, it's like another studio poorly trying to make the same design. It just looks off. But, like, whatever. He's only there for 5 seconds to get completely destroyed. I like how he is in the comics a lot more because, like, he's actually serious there.
All right.
Captain, what's your opinion on Godzilla vs. Kong, if you ever saw it?
Oh, I did see it. I saw that opening day. It is a really fantastic movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's kind of falling to the same issue that a lot of versus movies have nowadays, where like we can't have either one win, so they both have to team up at the end. But like, it's Mechagodzilla, so that's cool. I like that Kong and Godzilla have mutual respect for each other towards the end. It was a good movie. I hope they expand upon the MonsterVerse more. I'm liking these movies.
That's good. I'm afraid I've never been much of a Godzilla guy myself. And you, Luke, do you like Godzilla?
I haven't seen a lot of the Godzilla movies, except for the new Godzilla movies, but I would like to look into like the old. I think I do have the old version of Godzilla versus Kong, which I've quite liked. But I like to look into the other Japanese-based Godzilla movies as well. You just have difficulties finding any in HMV.
All right.
That the one where King Kong shoves a tree down Godzilla's throat?
I think so, and I think it's where like King Kong gets powered up by lightning to take down Godzilla.
Yeah, because that's the weird thing, is like, this is a very weird matchup because King Kong realistically stands no chance against Godzilla. Godzilla is just so much bigger and has like actual superpowers.
And he has pure radiation in.
Yeah. Whereas King Kong is just a big monkey.
That's not very fair. Now, maybe King Kong is smarter? I don't know.
I suppose that argument could be made, but like, Godzilla isn't exactly stupid.
Fair enough. I don't know, Melting Man is making fun. I haven't made my Phoenix Gear right yet, and I promised that last year. Don't give me more pressure.
How long ago did you make the last one?
Sorry?
How long ago did you make the last one?
This is decades ago. I did start on a new one, but I lost the original file. That's one of the reasons why I haven't worked anymore. Like, I'm desperately looking for it. I think I have a lot of files left on a previous computer that I lost, and it really bothers me. Because there's a lot of projects I want to remaster or remake, and I lost all the files. It sucks. Oh well, can't do anything about it.
I like how this became a Godzilla discussion out of nowhere.
Very random. Yeah, if you want to talk about Godzilla, fine with me. Unless Luke wants it to call it a night.
No, we can still talk.
All right. Although I can't really say much because I'm not really super familiar with Godzilla. Played a couple of the video games, and that's about it.
There was a... I only, like, recently started watching the Monsterverse movies in preparation for watching Godzilla vs. Kong. And I, along with many other people, have pointed out how weird it is to see the actors who played Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in the MCU playing a husband and wife.
Oh. And also you had Loki in Skull Island.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick Fury in Skull
and
Island.
Nick Fury.
Yeah. Maybe did their variants.
Who knows?
Yeah, as they point out on Screen Rant, the actors from Marvel are pretty much in everything else, which makes it a problem whenever they need to reference another movie in the MCU. Because chances are one of the actors from that movie is in the MCU.
Would be funny if a movie would just kind of play along with that the character actually was an actor previously, or just like, oh, I needed money, so I just started a movie for a bit. I just became the main actor in a main movie for a year.
They can kind of explain that, because in the comics, like before Samuel L. Jackson played Nick Fury in the MCU, Nick Fury said that Samuel L. Jackson would be the perfect actor to play him.
That's true, yeah.
So maybe it's just that in the MCU, Nick Fury and Samuel L. Jackson both exist and just happen to look exactly like each other.
That's a good point, yeah. Poor David Hasselhoff. Nobody likes his portrayal of Nick Fury. Because
I don't know what the heck happened
movie, didn't he? Sorry?
Yeah, he did. I don't know when, like, Nick Fury became black, because, like, I know
it was in
as far as I knew,
the
that was like
universe.
Yeah, in the Ultimate Universe he was, but like, when did that become the main Nick Fury?
I think it was because of the MCU. They wanted to take more from the Ultimate comics, because I think that was the more relevant at the time. Maybe.
Fair enough.
And besides, it's damn it, why did I lose his name? Samuel L. Jackson. Of course, you want to play him.
Well, yeah.
Any excuse to get him on the screen, go for it. And he's a giant nerd, so he always say yes. So,
oh yeah,
win-win for everyone.
I love Samuel L. Jackson.
Who doesn't?
He's great. But yeah, that is weird when they mention Star Wars in the MCU, because they've brought it up multiple times, and I wonder, do the people who have seen it and have met Nick Fury recognize that they look alike?
That's a good
Because
question.
Samuel L. Jackson was Mace Windu.
Would be funny if in a Batman movie they can yell at the Joker, "You were the chosen one. You were the Skywalker. Now you turn into the Joker. How dare you? You were supposed to bring peace to and balance to the Force."
Speaking of Luke Skywalker, I mean, this is probably a bit of a spoiler for the latest episode of Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, they managed to bring back Luke Skywalker, but they used technology to de-age him to make him look like as he looked like back in the 80s. I mean, it does look very impressive, but his voice did seem a little bit off.
Yeah, that's always a problem. Wasn't it a problem with Samuel L. Jackson too in that movie in the 80s? Captain, darn it.
Pulp Fiction?
No, not that one. No, the flashback one where Samuel Jackson also played a younger version of himself. Captain Marvel was that?
Oh yes, Captain Marvel, when it's set in the 90s. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But okay, so Luke Skywalker actually showed up in Boba Fett. That's nice. Yeah, they had to clean that up. A lot of people didn't like what happened to him.
I'm really liking how Book of Boba Fett is turning out. I saw a joke recently that was perfectly describes the last 2 episodes. Is so many people, so many like older fans are complaining that Boba Fett seems out of character in this series. So to fix that, they made him like he was in the old series, never showing up and with no lines.
Yes.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
I thought it was because, like, as the first four episodes were being a bit mediocre, they were like, oh, okay, let's just make this a new series of The Mandalorian instead.
I'm loving
also,
the show.
there was a lot of complaints about how he hired a biker gang that had these multicolored things, and they were being compared to the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Makan Rider specifically, I think, because he rode a motorcycle.
God, I'm loving Book of Boba Fett,
yeah.
But also I just love The Mandalorian. So the fact that the last 2 episodes have basically just been more episodes of The Mandalorian, pretty great.
Yeah,
lucky bonus, yeah. And I haven't watched them because I'm too busy with my own stuff. I'm a cultural barbarian, I suppose.
I finally finished watching Clone Wars for the first time. I wish I'd done that before
the 3D
I started
one.
watching Yeah. I mean, I also watched the movie and the 2D one. But yeah.
Okay.
I really wish I'd done that before I started watching Mandalorian, because I didn't know who Bo-Katan was, I didn't know what the Darksaber was, I didn't know what the Watch was.
You probably know about who this Ahsoka Tano character was?
Well, I knew Ahsoka Tano. She kind of like precedes the reputation of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
She's pretty famous.
Yeah, a lot of Star Wars lore. You have to watch a lot of stuff to keep following it up before Darth Maul randomly shows up and nobody knows how we survived. Should have watched the TV show.
Like he did in Solo.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah. I'm really glad I finished watching Clone Wars before starting Book of Boba Fett, because now I was able to recognize Cad Bane.
Yes.
And people are complaining about his design because it's slightly different from a cartoon.
I thought it was alright. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was like an evil Lee Van Cleef.
The way I see it is like the way the live action characters look in the cartoon is different enough that, like, if Cad Bane first showed up in Book of Boba Fett and then was in Clone Wars, people wouldn't have complained, because, like, oh, that's a faithful recreation of how he looked in Book of Boba Fett. But because it's the other way around, people have a problem.
Yeah, it's difficult to translate the cartoon to real life, unfortunately.
Mm.
But yeah, it's pretty cool that Star Wars is so respectful towards its lore, that all the TV shows do flow into each other. That could really surprise me. So,
I'm liking Star Wars nowadays, even though, like, half of Star Wars nowadays is just big, tough men taking care of children.
pretty much, yeah.
Because that's the premise of The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch.
Yes.
Yeah, popular theme, apparently. Oh, well. I just wish there were more video games. I like Star Wars video games.
Yeah, apparently we are
yeah.
getting more Star Wars video games later down the line because the exclusivity with EA is starting to run out. So we are
Good.
getting more sort of games like with Eclipse and apparently a remake or reimagining of Knights of the Old Republic. But I'm also, there's a new Lego Star Wars game coming out that I'm really looking forward to.
It looks great. And it's apparently going to be the last time we ever hear Tom Kane as Yoda.
Aww.
I hope they keep the Yoda scream in that game.
I hope so too. It's pretty famous now.
Probably. The Lego games love their memes and their cartoony voices. Yeah. Yeah, so good news for Star Wars games. And I love the Lego Star Wars games. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Absolutely.
It was weird seeing later episodes of the Clone Wars and like seeing both Yoda and Palpatine and thinking, wow, both of those actors have had a stroke.
Oh, ouch. Oh, well. Getting old, ain't
Speaking of Star Wars EA games, it's so funny and kind of tragic that like EA has this reputation of like monetizing the hell out of their games and like just pouring tons of additional content into them. And yet the one game they don't do that is Star Wars Squadrons, which I feel like is the one game that deserved it the most.
Yeah.
Because that game is very bare bones, but it's so fun.
That's a shame.
I have played Jedi Fallen Order, and it is so fantastic. It brings back old memories when I used to play Jedi Outcast, where you just run around with a lightsaber, having battles with stormtroopers and exploring all these different worlds. It was pretty fantastic after not playing a proper Star Wars game in so long.
Yeah.
I haven't played it myself, but I've watched people play it. It looks fantastic. It's kind of like a Star Wars Prince of Persia.
Hmm.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh. Ollie says there's going to be a sequel to Fallen Order.
Yes, I've heard about that. I've heard some rumors that they might have Darth Maul in it, but I'm not really sure.
Is he still not dead?
Well, apparently this is set at least 5 or 6 years after Order 66, so this is the period when Darth Maul would still be around.
Because I remember, like, he finally dies in Rebels, I believe.
I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to bring him back again. Because we all thought he died after Episode 1, and then in Clone Wars, they found a way to bring him back.
Yeah.
Can't keep a good villain down.
Nope.
Oh, speaking of him, him and Dan Green are both going to be at the convention I'm going to next month.
Yeah, you're gonna get an autograph?
I hope so. Yeah, I ordered Knuckles' model sheet off of Sega's website. I want to get Dan Green's autograph on that.
Okay. Nice. Conventions. That's been a long time ago since I've been to one. Stupid Corvette.
Yeah, I'm considering I might go to the May London Expo this year.
Oh, that's a big cool.
I don't mean to make fun of you, Roger, but it is COVID. No. Corvid is a type of bird.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Yeah,
Every time
Corvettes
someone
are stupid too, so
every time
It's not bird flu, mate.
Every time someone mistakenly spells COVID as Corvid, I just think of a crow.
Or bird flu.
well, they're nasty birds anyway. Well, I'll never be known for my good spelling and good pronunciations. Oh well, as long as I'm funny, that's the important thing.
And that's what you've had to tell people who saw your Sonic Generations in Minutes video.
Pretty much, yeah. My skyscrapers or skyscrapers. Or
Skyscrapers.
Skyscrapers. It's just a special kind of building. It's we only know those in the Netherlands. They're so superior. You poor other people just don't understand our genius.
Imagine the Netherlands is just like the European version of Wakanda.
Yeah,
where
precisely.
it's secretly more
secret
highly
Dutch
advanced.
technology.
Yeah,
Exactly. Only we know the
But it
magic
just-
of the skyscraper. That's a laugh. We barely have big buildings over here. I can pretend you don't know anyway. Ah. Except Luke does, because he did go over here a couple times.
Yeah.
He can point out I'm a liar. Darn you, Luke.
Well, unless you count about the windmills.
That's it. The skyscraper's just a giant windmill. You got it. Even though Silver didn't throw those, so that joke doesn't work at all. I can't.
Yeah, I do want to see Silver throwing windmills.
Ooh, that'd be even more deadlier than skyscrapers, because now you have all these extra...
Because they got the spinning blade.
Spinning blades, exactly. We'd be even deadlier, yeah. Maybe next time. Sonic in the Netherlands.
You'd use that for your Sonic Frontiers in minutes.
Yeah, why not? Even though the levels don't look like the Netherlands at all, but why not? Depends on what kind of jokes I can make about it, I suppose. Yeah, I think we're about done then, unless someone wants to talk more about Godzilla.
I don't know if we mentioned these earlier, but I could talk about the other new images and footage from the Sonic Movie 2 trailer. I mean, we sort of talked about like the new ref images of Dr. Robotnik, but I also saw this new footage of one of the trailers of Robotnik blowing his finger, like maybe he's got an ability like he can shoot lasers or flamethrower at people.
It's probably a joke, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. And blowing his finger like a gun.
Yeah, and also there's a small footage clip of Robotnik with blackened outfit walking into Sonic's house, and you can just barely see the top of Knuckles' head. So,
Okay.
So you could probably like Knuckles saying, like, "I can't believe it! I'm in a trailer."
Pulls a Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, yeah. And also you got some images, like you got one of Tails doing some kind of O face, or something similar to like the Twitch Pog face, as you call it. And also you got I just saw recently like a new image of Knuckles riding shotgun on Robotnik's Eggmobile. So you could probably imagine Robotnik speeding along like with Knuckles in tow, but the one I saw was empty, so it looks like we might get to see Knuckles piloting the Eggmobile like at the end of Sonic 3.
That'd be awesome. Oh, that reminds me, Sonic X, we actually saw Amy piloting a plane at one part. That was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I've got a strange feeling that I've got a feeling that maybe at the end of the second Sonic movie, like in an after credits scene, they might actually introduce Amy coming in through a ring.
Possibly. I'm pretty sure. But then again, with Gunn having such a presence, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Shadow. That's going to be my prediction. That there's...
I feel like how I would introduce Shadow would be like what they did at the after credits scene of Guardians of the Galaxy, where like you show like this underground bunker, and then you see this huge test tube thing with like tubes going in everywhere. There's a lot of fog everywhere, and they see like the code name Project Shadow on it or something.
Yeah, that's gonna be my guess. It's that's gonna be the mid-credit sequence or something. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Unless they're gonna give Amy that part, that'd be interesting. Character reversal.
Yeah, like maybe like Tails knows about her and like brings her in to like in order to find the other emeralds.
Who knows? But that's for the future. For now, we're gonna have to focus on movie 2. But I guess I have plenty of characters to introduce. Yeah. Anyway, it is kind of nice to get a story about actually Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles again, and not focusing on brand new characters. Because I doubt Sonic Frontiers is going to focus much on the main cast. But we'll see. Then again, maybe Sonic Prime also will.
There's certainly a lot to look forward to.
Yep, plenty of stuff coming, even though we need to have a lot of patience. Oh well, I'm busy with my own projects, so that'll get me through the time. So, Captain, you doing any projects you want to shill?
No, actually. Been playing a lot of Halo recently.
Fair enough. Luke,
I've
you
been
wanna
playing a lot
show
of Spider-Man 2
Oh,
on the
okay.
GameCube.
This is the PlayStation game.
Yeah, I've been playing the GameCube version, and it's pretty much how it would really work well as a Sonic game, with Sonic jumping on across buildings and through streets of New York City. You do missions under a time limit, like trying to meet Mary Jane, taking photographs, and trying to deliver pizzas under a strict time limit while listening to the same annoying Italian music over and over and over. But also you get fight crimes like you get in the Sonic Movie 2 trailer, like helping people out, rescuing people from boats, and stopping criminals. But yeah, I thought whilst parts of it are quite difficult, I did find it a pretty good Spider-Man simulator.
Fair enough. The GameCube version. I say you're going old school because the PlayStation now has modern versions of what's kind of the same gameplay, as far as I know.
Well, being as I haven't got like many PlayStation, I decided to go with like the Spider-Man games I could play, and being as Spider-Man 2 was one of the most popular Spider-Man games for its time, I thought I might as well check it out to get me because of the hype surrounding the new Spider-Man movie.
Hey, good idea, good idea. Why spend a lot of time, money on new systems when there's still plenty of classics laying around? If you haven't played them yet, why not? I'm also still into playing a lot of Dreamcast games lately, so I'm being very retro myself. I still need to play Psychonauts 2. Bought it recently and I haven't taken the time yet. So many games, so little time. Anyway, to give us more time, I guess it's about time we quit this stream. So, see you all in 2 weeks again. Hope to have a couple cartoons finally done. It's been a very long time since I had a proper upload. And see you next